Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Business Matters, the Broomfield Chamber of Commerce video podcast. I'm Pat Monticelli with the Chamber. Thanks for joining us today. Before we get into today's interview, I want to make sure that I remind you to like this podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way we can keep bringing all this great content to you. For today's Business Matters, we're going to do a membership spotlight with Gogo Business Aviation, and Mike Begler from Gogo is with us. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
And Mike is the Senior VP of Operations for Gogo. And Mike, you and I were talking before the camera started rolling, and you are a Broomfield native.
Yes, I grew up, my family moved to Broomfield when I was 3. So I went to Cole School, and I'm a graduate in 1983 of Broomfield High School. It's one of the few locals that are still around here, so it's good.
That's fantastic. And now you are the Senior VP of Operations for Gogo Business Aviation, located, the local office is in Interlaken.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about what Gogo does for folks that might not be familiar.
Okay, so most people are familiar with Gogo when they use the commercial services. So if you fly most commercial airlines, we have Gogo services, both air to ground and what is a satellite offering for internet connectivity, in-flight entertainment, that kind of thing. The business office, business aviation office that is in Broomfield, is responsible for connecting all of the business aircraft, which most of us don't have the financial wherewithal to have a business aircraft, so most of us are more familiar with the commercial services, but same technology and capabilities between both markets.
So when did Gogo come about? How long has Gogo been around?
Well, it's been around quite a while, almost 25 years now. So Gogo started out as AirCell, actually started out in Louisville and then migrated over to Broomfield, really with a focus on analog connectivity, more of in-flight phone communication way back when, and then ultimately when individuals started having cell phones and wanting connectivity, we moved into broadband connectivity, and that started again more on the business aviation and then migrated over the commercial aviation.
You know, it's interesting because you and I have been around the block a few times when it comes to technology, and it's easy to forget that bringing connectivity to a moving aircraft is a lot harder than you would think it would be. Tell us a little bit about about the technology that goes into making us able to be connected to our phones while we're in midair.
Well, you have a lot of challenges. As you know, you're averaging 35,000 feet in the air from a standpoint of your aircraft, and you're moving at about 500 miles per hour. So that's some of the challenges alone around how do you have connectivity in that kind of environment. Also, on the business aviation side of the house, we have hardware that gets installed in the hellhole. That's an area within the aircraft that doesn't have any kind of environmental situations that are really favorable to hardware. So we have to be able to operate in in temperature extremes, environmental extremes associated to both humidity, temperature, as well as vibration. And we have to be FAA certified to obviously be safe on that aircraft. As well as Gogo developed our own air-to-ground system, or what you call maybe a Verizon in the sky, to where what we have is we've built out 250 cell towers within the U.S. and Canada that support this connectivity of this air-to-ground system. Now, we also utilize satellite connectivity, but most on the business aviation side, most of the aircraft, because it cannot handle the size of the antennas and other items that are used for commercial aircraft, really work very well with the air-to-ground connectivity, and it's very cost-effective.
What keeps Gogo here in the Broomfield area?
Well, I mean, it really is, it's a great place to live. So obviously trying to attract people across the nation into Broomfield. I myself, I've lived in several places around the country, and now being able to come back to Broomfield and being able to again call Broomfield home has really been a blessing for my family. For many of the people that we work with, it really isn't very difficult to attract people into Broomfield, and we all know that with the amount of people that are coming into this state. But at the same time, US 36, the technology corridor, some people would say even from a SaaS business standpoint, trying to find that talent and the technology within that corridor, there's a lot of competing technologies, and you have a lot of availability for that kind of talent.
And speaking of that, with everything that you do and all the technology that you deal with, who is a great candidate to be a part of Gogo?
Well, we kind of, it's very unique. We actually, on the first floor of our business aviation operation, which I manage, we actually manufacture and produce the hardware that goes on all this aircraft. So we design all the product in-house, so you got manufacturing engineers, you got test engineers, so you got MEs, EEs, You have software engineers, coders, you have quality engineers, you have finance people, you have HR. So all, a lot of high-tech and different individuals that can support that high-tech industry are what make up our employee base. It's about 300 people here in the Broomfield office.
And like I said, you're located in Interlaken, a great building out there. It's great to have a company like that here locally. We always ask this of companies that are large companies that are members of their local chamber of commerce. What is it that makes it an attractive proposition to be a chamber member for a company the size of Gogo?
Well, I mean, I think obviously we want to be a good steward of the community as well. I mean, aside from obviously Broomfield and the network of the people that you meet and get to have a relationship with the chamber beneficial. Obviously, we can talk about overall business trends, the challenges of COVID, operating with COVID. All of that's helpful because obviously we learn a lot from each other. So that, I mean, the networking is really important. But I think the other part of it is we really want to be a good steward of the community and give back to the community that has given and continues to give so much to us.
And you mentioned some of the challenges around COVID, and Gogo's no different than a lot of other companies. There's still a fair amount of the work from home folks right now. What kind of challenge does that present to your business when it comes to not being able to bring everybody back into the building?
Yeah, I mean, we build hardware. So with that, you kind of have to be in that particular area, we have to be in front of the hardware. Now, we've been able to take all the CDC guidelines, make sure that we're distancing, make sure we're wearing our masks. We're fortunate in the facility we can space people to be able to do that. We've made changes and accommodating the facility to be able to manage that. We've worked with our business owner to help manage where we put stations for hand cleanser as far as which ways you go in and out of the facility, so you have your distancing. We've done a lot for many months now because we've operated this way for many months, and we've had positive cases at times and been able to, frankly, work through that. Make sure, obviously, safety of the individuals are the most important thing, and we've been able to, frankly, have the trust of our employees that we've been working with them to keep everybody safe. We don't have everybody there, so obviously about 2/3 of the people are not in the office right now, and those people are able to work remotely, and we're continuing to manage that. And we'll see what that looks like going forward. But for now, we've never missed a shipment, and we ship product every day since this whole pandemic, and we hope it does come to pass for everybody that's been having to manage this. And really feel for a lot of the employees that have school kids that are home, they're trying to do that job, the work job, and everything else. But we really clearly tried as a family accommodate everybody's situation and make sure that we can work through those challenges.
It seems that some companies, and you may be the same way, have actually found that, if you want to call it a small silver lining in this situation, is that you've discovered ways to hone your processes and that might be more advantageous moving forward after the pandemic, new operating procedures perhaps.
Yeah, well, we know, our customers, people would say they're doing board meetings on the plane, obviously utilizing our service, which is great. More people are clearly flying business aviation due to some of the concerns. So for our business, there's a silver lining there, and business aviation still remains very strong. The silver lining from a business standpoint is anytime, really more of a push for being able to do Zoom calls or the other tools that you may use. We use Team Center as well. Obviously, people that were reluctant to doing that, they frankly have been forced to kind of go through those learning curves, and there has been some, and there's been difficulties with some of the meetings of being able to figure out how do you do the protocol and with everybody talking, all of that kind of stuff that everybody's facing, or the big issue, which is always never getting off mute and talking, which we have that every day. But now it's becoming more of a rhythm. I think people are realizing also if they don't have to have that commute, and you add that to your day, there can be an added level of productivity there. So where this all ends up kind of going forward, we're trying to find the right balance, but most importantly, it's trying to make sure that we're working with our employees on what they can do, what they feel comfortable in doing depending on their situation, and at the same time, as important as meeting our customers' needs. And some we've been able to do that, and again, I'm thankful for the employees at Gogo that have frankly made that all work.
Absolutely. Last thing is just to leave you with, or to leave everybody with, if there's one thing you want everybody to know about Gogo Business Aviation, what would that be?
Well, it's an awesome place to work. I feel very fortunate coming back to Broomfield again. I grew growing up here to have such a great opportunity of a fast-paced, it's challenging every day, but the culture and the environment is just wonderful. This is the best job I've ever had. It doesn't even feel like a job. Which is great. It's a rapidly growing business. People that think that individuals just wanted to go into a plane and sleep, that was the argument years ago. That's not true. They actually want to be connected. So it's a great business. And as you drive by the facility, you see that Gogo red sign on the off US 36. That's what we do there. If you see an opportunity there, feel free and look me up and let me know your interest, because we're a growing company.
Mike, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for being a member of the Broomfield Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, thank you.
All right, everybody, that's it for today's edition of Business Matters, our member spotlight with Gogo Business Aviation. Thank you for being with us today. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Business Matters.